a space, and hopefully after everything is kind of ramping up with COVID-19, a place where young adults in the Indianapolis area, as well as all over, can gather, make friendships, relationships, and hopefully learn something new. Super excited for what we have today. Here in just a second, we're going to introduce you to Maury. He is a singer songwriter currently in Nashville. So obviously, country music is Lane. You guys are going to be interviewing today. I'm going to have Garrett, you guys on our team, interview him as well. We're super excited for what's going to happen today, and I hope you guys get to enjoy something great. As always, each interview, each presentation is going to be about 15 minutes with an opportunity for you to ask questions. So don't hesitate to ask any sort of questions. We'd love to get your feedback. We love the questions you guys have been asking. Thanks so much for being a part of this. We hope that we can continue to make this happen in the future. And then after Lane, hopefully we're going to have Ryan. He's an educator. He's kind of talking through what does this world look like right now. We're having some technical difficulties with him, but hopefully we're going to get him going and everything will be good. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time. I'm going to bring up Garrett and Lane here in just a second. And so once I'm going to hop off, and then Garrett, I'm going to pass it over to you, man. Oh, Garrett, I don't think I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now? All right, great. Yeah, I was just saying, thanks for the introduction. Are you still in the feed?
Yep, I'm heading off.
Okay. All right, so we're just going to handle.
I don't see or hear anybody.
Yeah, we can hear and see you. I think now it's just you and I. Need the moderator. He's going to hop off, but he'll be able to do the handoff to the next guest. All right. All right, so we're just going to do this like a regular interview. I said a few questions for you, and then as me was saying, that at the very end of this, we'll have guests who can ask questions as well. So I'll just go ahead and get us started. So to start us off, tell me about what got you into music and how you got started playing professionally.
All right. It looks like we lost him for a second, so we're gonna have him pop back off and then hop back on because it looks like we ran into some technical difficulties with him. We just had him 2 seconds ago, and then we just lost him.
Okay.
Let's see if this works. Sorry, guys. Hey, Lane, can you see Garrett?
I can see you. That's it.
But you can't see Garrett.
Nope.
Why don't you hop back off and then hop back on and see if that works? Sorry, guys. We have no idea what's going on. This is a new platform we're using. It worked really well last week, and it looks like we're having some terrible things around. Let's see if it works this time around.
Hey!
You good?
Yes, finally. For a minute, I couldn't see or hear anything.
Oh, this is great. Well, thanks for bothering with us. I'm going to hop myself off.
All right, we're going to try it again. Did you hear my question last time?
I didn't hear. You weren't even there. I didn't see or hear you.
Oh, I think that explains the laughter. All right, well, I'm going to ask the question again, and we'll get started with the interview. All right, so I said, tell me about what got you into music and how you started playing professionally.
What got me into music? So I've always kind of been around music. As you know, Daddy played steel guitar and several other instruments, but he played steel guitar with Roger Miller when he was in the Army and a couple of other bigger singers. He got to play at the Grand Ole Opry a few times. And so I was always around that. He was always really into music, and especially country music, playing the steel guitar. And that was his first job. When he was 15, he was actually playing in a band, in a country band. So growing up, you just kind of felt like you needed to play music because he played, and that's what he liked. And, you know, Mama played piano and sang. And so I just wanted to be able to participate, I guess. I wanted to be involved in it. So I had the want to, and he taught me some chords and stuff, and I taught myself a lot. And the singing, I just taught myself. He didn't teach me. He can't really sing.
Yeah, so growing up, you played a lot with family members and such. But what was the big step for you to go from playing with family members to doing something professionally?
Well, when I was little, I always wanted to be a singer. I had a toy box. I was probably 3, 4, 5 years old. I had a toy box, and I'd get up on the lid of that like it was a stage, and I had a little guitar, and I'd play it, and I had a little piano, and I'd play that, and I'd sing, and I'd put on shows for an imaginary crowd. So I always wanted to do that, and eventually I'd always wanted to do it, so I just eventually started trying to get somewhere, trying to play. I started out actually playing in church, and I played in church Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings. And then eventually I just decided, I wanted to start playing out places and in bars. So I just started going door to door to bars and just going in there and saying, hey, who do I need to talk to? I play music. Who do I need to talk to about getting a gig or whatever, who books around here? And I just got to where I was doing that. And that's pretty much how you have to do it. That's the hardest part, is getting the gigs. Playing the show and nothing, it's getting booked because there's so many, and I can't imagine how it's going to be once stuff starts opening back up. But the hardest part was getting gigs because there's so many people that play music, and you've either got to stand out from them or just, and basically the way you do that is you just harass or whoever book. That's what you do. You just harass them. You call them. You go up there. You have to do it sometimes a whole bunch of times before they book you. But then once they book you, with my experience, they usually like me, and then it's no problem getting booked again. But the first time getting booked somewhere is a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So what's the negotiation process like that? You've told me some wild stories over the years where someone's trying to, pay you $20 to travel across the state, or, we'll pay you in food only. And you've had some wild stories about negotiating with these bar owners. So what's that like?
I have heard of a lot of people that have got screwed over doing that, but honestly, I haven't really got screwed over. I haven't had anybody try to pay me less or not try to pay me before. I haven't had that happen. But yeah, I've had people want me to come play for like $20 and stuff, and I'm not going to do that. When I first started out, I would play pretty much anywhere, and sometimes it depends on where it is. If it's a good place and there's going to be a lot of people, I think I can make some tips, or a good place that a lot of people go to. I think I might make a new fan, might meet somebody, whatever.
Right.
I might take something like that. But as far as dealing with, usually with my experience, whatever they told me they were going to pay me is what they pay me. I hadn't had nobody try to not pay me or nothing like that. But I have heard of a lot of people. I know people that have had to, tell them that's going to pay them $100 and they come play and there wasn't nobody there, and then they don't want to pay them. I did have one time I got booked at this one, hole in the wall honky tonk at far east Alabama. It was almost in Georgia, way out in the middle of nowhere. It was, I can't even remember the name of the town. It's very desolate though. The bar I about drove by. Actually, I did drive by, and I had to turn around and go back to it. There was nothing else on that road, some houses and stuff. And we went in there, and there probably went 5 people in there. I played for maybe an hour. And the lady said, look, I'm sorry, this is a bad night. Sometimes it's pretty crowded, but she's like, tonight it's not. And so I had several people that went with me. I think Haley was with me. I'm pretty sure she was with me. Haley was with me, and Nathan Day and a couple more. And so we left early and we went and did something else. They did pay me though, but they didn't pay as much. But I didn't play but like an hour instead of 4 hours. They were like, look, it's really dead. We don't think nobody's coming. Can we just pay you? I think they paid me like maybe 3/4 of what they're supposed to. Anyway, I wasn't really mad. Stuff happens,
Yeah. I get that. It sounds like for the most part, though, when you got started, you were just trying to get your foot in the door, but after a while, you were able to kind of pick and choose a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot. I get asked now a lot of times to play different things, and a lot of times I don't want to. So they'll ask me how much I charge them. I'll quote them something really high, and I'm like, oh, there's no way they're going to want to pay me. And then they'll be like, oh, that sounds great. And I'm like, well, I didn't really want to do it, but $200, I guess I'll do whatever. Stand on my head, gargle peanut butter.
Yeah. So you've grown up playing in small towns, you're from a small town, but recently you made the move to Nashville. So what was the motivation for doing that? What was the reason that led to the big step?
Really, a whole lot of things just happened. I've wanted to move to Nashville for a long time, at least 10 years, but just things, I just didn't. Things come up, and I had a good, first had Lainey, and then, I had all that, and then she got a little older, and then I had a good job, and I was comfortable, and I'd wanted to go, but I probably would have never left that job. Well, some things happened, and I lost that job, and I was no longer comfortable. And I had somebody tell me 2 or 3. It was on a Sunday, and I got fired on Friday. And on Sunday, somebody told me that I needed to spend as much time as I could in Nashville and meet as many people as I can, play as much as I can. That was Sunday. Well, the next day I went into work Monday, and they fired me. So I was like, well, maybe that's a sign. Maybe it's time to finally do it, because everything that I had that was holding me back is no longer in place. So might as well try to make some dreams happen and chase a career in music. So I got in my truck and I drove up to Nashville, and I got out Google Maps and I Googled machine shops in Nashville, and a whole bunch of them popped up. So I just went through there and, I'm going to go to this one. I clicked on it and pulled up the address and drove to it and talked to them and went to several different places. And the next day, one of the last place that I had went to, the guy called me from Cumberland Machine, said, hey, you still looking for a job? I had a guy quit this evening after you left. When can you start? Or do you still want it? I was like, yeah. And he said, when can you start? And that happened. So I took the job. And one of my cousins happened to have just bought a house up here, and he was renting out some of the rooms. And he was like, hey, I got that house up there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, that's perfect. So I moved in the basement, and here I am, even though I had some difficulties with the plumbing, but
I meant to mention that at the top of the interview that we had originally planned for Lane to play a song here at the end, but he's had some.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay, cool. He's had some plumbing issues that have led to a change of plans, but it sounds like he's still able to do it. So that's cool. So it seemed like everything was lining up for you. It was like one event happened that led to another, and a lot of opportunities were opening up. But then you moved to Nashville, and 2 weeks later, a global pandemic started. So what's it been like trying to play music and play music in front of people during this whole crisis?
I can't play music in front of people. I had gigs from when this started booked on until like June, and they're pretty much. I had one this coming up weekend. I'm supposed to play, and it's canceled. And I had one last weekend. I had a birthday party, and that was canceled. I had 2 or 3 birthday parties and different events that all got canceled. So I went from playing music in different bars or private parties or just about every weekend I was playing some kind of show somewhere, to now I play just about every Thursday in my room on Facebook Live. I'm not going to this week, but this is the first week in several weeks I haven't. I usually advertise, but since I moved out of my room, I moved in an upstairs room, and I've got some other roommates. So I don't really want to disturb it. I'm gonna play a song here, but usually I play my live shows a little bit later, and I play them for about an hour. So I'm sure they don't want to hear me down here, hollering, moaning for an hour. So yeah, I moved up here in hopes to meet a lot of people, meet some connections, and maybe make some things happen. Maybe in some way be able to eventually make a living in the music industry in some form. But 2 weeks, I was up here about 2 weeks, and the world shut down. So now I went from playing music every weekend out to doing a Facebook live show, hoping get on here hoping people Venmo me or PayPal me some money. My income from music went from being pretty good to now I might be able to buy a meal with it a week. I was almost, making as much as some people make at their regular jobs.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll die down eventually, and you'll be able to get back to it. But it is interesting hearing that perspective in the time being. So, I got to ask you, what are your plans going forward? So, when all this dies down, what do you plan on doing next? I know you've talked about potentially releasing your first album.
Yeah,
I know you're going to keep getting out there and keep getting gigs. So, what do you have planned once everything dies down?
Yeah, as soon as everything dies down, I'm gonna be wide open like a case now, trying to play as much as I can, getting gigs anywhere I can, spending as much time out and about trying to meet people, trying to go places where some singer, produce something, where I might run into somebody and see, it's all about connections.
Yeah.
Getting in the music business. So when I'm not playing, I want to be out there trying, because I'm a people person anyway, and I like people, and I like to socialize, and that's how you meet people. So I'm going to spend a lot of time doing that when I'm not playing music. Since this quarantine, I've spent a lot of time writing some music, which I haven't done a whole lot lately till now. But as soon as this is over and some recording studios open back up, I'm going to make an album, a little like an EP of a few songs I've wrote, and with a full band, and see what we can do with that. Get it out. I might get you or somebody to help me get it out on Spotify and some different other ways of getting the music other than a hard copy.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm looking forward to it. All right, last question before I open up to the group, and this is kind of just like for you and others that are in the same position as you. How can people best support you and other local music artists on their way up?
Well, obviously, local.
Yeah. So if when you first got started out, and even where you are now, how can people best support local music artists?
Go out and watch them. If anybody that you like or any of your friends, if they're playing a gig, go support them. Go give them $1 tip. Hell, if everybody in the bar gives you $1, $1 don't sound much, but if everybody in there just gives you $1, sometimes it'll add up. There's 100 people in that bar. That's that ain't too bad. And if any local people have any music on Spotify or anything like that, play it, because you get royalties from that. I tell you what really helps. If you just want to be a heck of a good guy, pick an artist that you like, you want to help out, and play their music. Plug your phone up, let it charge, and play their music while you're sleeping. You cut the volume off if you don't want to hear it, but the fact that it's playing their music, they're going to get some kickback. They're going to get some money back off that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you're trying to grow your social media presence. People can like you on Facebook, and we'll post that after he ends tonight. We're starting to get some questions in, so I'm going to go ahead and read them off for you. First question, who are your favorite current country music artists?
My favorite, a couple of them are like very top favorite. Cody Johnson is one of my favorites. I really like him. He's one of the best. Really good singer and songwriter. I really like John Party. I like what he's doing. I like his whole California cowboy vibe thing. I like him. I like Luke Combs. He's good. Ashley McBride is one of my top favorites right now. She is a female, and she just got signed, I think, last year, pretty recently. She's been making music forever. She's 36 or 37. She's quite a bit older than me, and she's just now kind of getting really popular, but she's a really good writer. She's been writing songs for years, and she's finally getting some recognition. She's I think she had one song so far that got a little bit of on country radio charts, but a lot more people are knowing who she is. They're streaming her music on Spotify, and she was opening up, I think, last year, year before, for Eric Church, so that helped her out a lot, because Eric Church is a pretty big name.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next question. We have Lane. What is your inspiration for writing the songs you have written so far?
Life, man, life experiences. Every song, I don't just. Some people can just sit down and just write a song, and I can, but usually I don't want to do that. I've sat around before with my buddy Houston Lucky and just kicked around, just sitting around, just playing, fooling around, and he'll be like, "Hey, make up a song about this. Just give me a topic or something. I'll go with it." Me and him used to do that a lot. But usually, most everything I write about is usually influenced by some event or some person or something I went through or something that happened. So all the songs I write are pretty personal usually.
All right, we'll go to the next question here. Because I know there are a lot of other artists in Nashville. How do you stay in your lane and not compare yourself to others?
How do you do what?
Stay in your lane and not compare yourself to others. Like, how do you focus on your individuality?
Believe it or not, that's hard because you're like, oh, well, they're doing really good with this, or they're getting really popular, and this person just got signed, and I remember kind of like Riley Green, he's getting real popular now. And I remember a couple of years back when nobody knew who he was, and he was playing some of the same bars that I did in Alabama. And you just kind of got to do what you enjoy, what you like, because me, and I like, I got my own style, my own thing that I like. There's a lot of this newer stuff, a lot of the newer stuff I don't like, but some of it I do. So I try not to focus too much on anything but myself. I try to just worry about me and try not to compare myself to. It's hard because you're going to, but you just gotta snap out of that and just keep doing your thing and try to do everything you can to make whatever you're trying to do, whatever your dream is. Just try to do whatever you can to every day to try to get a little bit closer to where you want to be.
Yep. No, I like that a lot. All right, so that's the end of the questions we have today. So if you wanted to wrap it up with a song, I know we'd all appreciate it.
Sure, I'm gonna do one I wrote. You got a preference?
No, I like all of them. You go ahead and pick the one you want to play.
I'm gonna write. This is one of the first ones I wrote. This is one of my favorite ones, and all my buddies pretty much know it and like it. And anytime I play anywhere, they're like, "Play that song." It's called "Faith, Hope, and Love." I was raised in Walker County over 20 years ago. Family all around me, I loved them so. That's why I am who I am and how come I'm this way. Where I get the strength enough to live from day to day. Yeah, my daddy tried to teach me everything he knew. Said, son, be positive in everything you do. Taught me what's important in life ain't money, power, fame. Said striving for that stuff's what'll drive a man insane. That's why I love summer breeze. Sit on a porch shelf like eyed peas, and the best things in life are always free. And that's why I still cling to my roots, and I still wear my cowboy boots, and I fish in the shade of an old oak tree. And all I need is faith, hope, love, and a family. Yeah, my mama always loved me, tried to raise me right. Said it don't make you a man just cause you can fight. She said put your trust in God with every choice you make. And if you learn to do that, boy, there won't be no mistake. That's why I love summer breeze. Sit on a porch shelf like eyed peas, and the best things in life are always free. Yeah, that's why I still cling to my roots, and I still wear my cowboy boots, and I fish in the shade of an old oak tree. And all I need is faith, hope, love, and a family. Yeah, all I need is faith, hope, love, in Walker County. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all having me. And it's been fun. My name's Maury. Y'all go at me on Facebook and Instagram. And here shortly, when everything clears up, I'll have me an album out.
Awesome. Hey, Lane, thanks so much, man. This was incredible. You honestly need your own TV show because you, you are great. And like you said, post all your focus. Make sure that everybody gets to see what you're doing and make sure for you.
That's great. So I've been told I need my own TV show before.
I'm saying I would watch that every week.
I've been told that. I think I just need to get me a GoPro and just start filming myself day to day, because you'd be surprised some of the stuff. Like, we could have really got into some good stuff. He didn't even ask that many good questions. Like, we could have got into some fun stuff.
Oh, that is so great. Well, hey, man, I'm going to let you head off. Thanks so much again for having me. We really appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed Lane. He is awesome, and the little mini concert. Man, we can't wait until we can do that together in a coffee shop. But until then, we'll settle for that. But that was not settling. That was awesome. So up next, I'm excited to bring on another guy who's a part of our team, Nate. He's going to be interviewing Ryan. He works with him at Noblesville, but I'm going to let Nate do the introductions. But he is fantastic. So I'm going to let Nate kind of introduce him, and you guys are in for a treat. I can already tell Ryan's brilliant, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say. So we're going to put these guys on, and we're going to get this party started.
Yo, yo.
Hey,
hey.
Good to see you.
Man, you look good. You look good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch you with it's a long race, though.
Nah, you stand no chance, brother.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. And, yeah, I'm way behind. How you been, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there at home. Yeah, for all the people watching, you didn't know this probably. I have a copy of your resume, right? And I'm just going to read it from Dr. Bob. No, I've been in the teaching game probably for longer than you would want me to say. You've been teaching?
No, it's cool. Like 17 years, I think.
You've been in the game, yes. But you've also, so you teach chemistry, physics. You've done engineering-based classes.
Yeah,
I taught in Illinois, taught in Indiana. You've taught overseas in Dubai in the UAE.
yeah.
So yeah. So you've had some experiences that are pretty unique. But you've also done lab work, like just typical lab chemistry kind of stuff, technical stuff. So I remember just talking back to it must have been second week of March or something. And the talk amongst the teachers in the hallways was like, so have you heard about this COVID thing? Is this real? I remember personally just thinking, hey, wait, there's no way they're going to shut down school. There's no way. But that shows, what I know.
You literally asked me, have you been through something like this before? And I was like, no, sir. I was not alive in 1918. And you're like, fair.
Yeah. I said you weren't? Oh.
So, no, it's a fair question, because our kids ask the same question. They're like, well, what do we do? And I'm like, sorry, guys. I don't know. This is new, bud.
Figuring this out in the same time you are.
Yeah.
So, we can both talk a little bit about this, but I wanted to specifically hear kind of how you were thinking. As a public school educator, we're in a 4A school. It's a pretty big school. We have means that a lot of other schools probably don't have. One-to-one iPads, the kind of technology So in that situation, how has COVID-19 been affecting your classes, your students, and the way you teach?
I'm so thankful that you sent me a few of these questions ahead of time, because it's such a complicated answer. I mean, I have young people who don't have internet, who our district has done everything they can to provide internet. But I mean, in the high school, we have over 3,000 kids.
Right.
And then forget about like those kids that are K through 8. So I have some who I've literally heard from in the last 2 or 3 days for the first time since March, mid-March. And then I have other kids who have absolutely knocked it out of the park.
For sure.
So, you know, it's nothing I was prepared for. I will tell you this. I feel like I'm more prepared than most teachers, and I am unprepared for this.
Well, you're used to using our online resource, Canvas.
Yes.
So you would think that, okay, we can just easily transition into, but
no,
not so much.
No, I had a wonderful conversation with a parent yesterday, and she was awesome. She was frustrated with the fact that her kid didn't have an updated grade, and like I understood her frustration, but at the same time, like her kid had an A and was maintaining the A, and I have so many other kids to worry about.
Right.
And that sounds terrible.
Well, it's hard, right? Because now you have to kind of start prioritizing your time on a more.
Yeah, I definitely work more now, more hours now than I did in most of my previous 15 years.
So what are your work hours typically going into now? Is it more curriculum, development, instruction, just constant emails? What is it looking like?
Yeah, no, it's both of those. I mean, I'm really fortunate that I have professionals within my, well, we call them professional learning communities and PLCs, who have taught the courses. So I'm teaching 2 courses that I haven't taught in, let's just say, over 10 years.
Sure.
And I have professionals within my learning community that have helped me quite a bit. And so lesson design, I'm pretty good on, thanks to them. It's feedback. It's parental communication. It's speaking with, I don't want to get too jargony, but teachers of record for our learners that have individualized education plans.
There you go.
So like next week, I have at least, right now I have 4 of those meetings, and they can last, over an hour a piece, but they're more important than ever because, come on, like, this is when that doesn't sound good. All of our students need individualized education plans right now.
Right.
Some of them qualify for them and have set meetings for those times. So
I was going to say, in the classroom, you can almost negate for some of those individualized things more so because you're there with them. Whereas now, you know, you have to deal with it. Every kid having a different, you know, need. You have to really deal with that on a more serious level.
Yeah, I never, ever, ever thought about it. But when I have zero control over the learning environment, it's much harder. I have absolutely thought about the fact that my students, when they leave my classroom and go home, that they have different situations to deal with, and you know, the inequities that exist. But now it's magnified, and I never thought about, prior to this, an environment of teaching where there is no common ground.
Yeah. As we progress through this, you know, most Hamilton County schools, and I think Marion County schools, are on a continuous cycle or something close to it.
Yes.
The summer would typically be June, July, and then you're supposed to be right back to it August 1st, typically, or as soon as you can in August. Have you heard, or do you have any information about fall, you know, what things could look like in the fall? Any theories even?
You know, you and I have talked, because we have the privilege of teaching next to each other. But I'm an empiricist through and through. Like, I am evidence-based, and right now I don't have any evidence whatsoever to support either way.
Mm-hmm.
We do or we don't go back. Actually, I probably have evidence to support both,
Sure.
depending on who I listen to. So I can tell you this, I'm teaching a course for teachers who, you took a modeling chem.
Yep, AMTA, yeah.
With Ray, and yeah. So I've been working with Ray, and we're approaching this summer's modeling workshop from the vantage point that what if we don't get to be face-to-face to start the year?
Sure. And for people who don't know, this is like kind of a professional development,
Yeah.
but
Thank you.
Methodology of teaching.
Yeah, it's a pedagogy and methodology. Yeah. Methodology is probably, honestly, the best term for it.
So teachers doing different professional development things, and you're a part of this modeling curriculum.
And the modeling methodology is heavily dependent upon face-to-face,
for sure,
word interactions and discussions. So we are working very hard to, I guess, figure out how to facilitate that online. Just in case.
Yeah. It makes me think about teachers who have to get professional development done soon, whether it's to renew their license or to, you know, continue their license. I'm not aware, but I don't know if you've seen anything about, has the state adjusted any kind of the protocol for going about renewing and things like that?
Yeah, and I ran out of time today to check out like so the superintendent of public education for the state of Indiana sends out every Friday a newsletter. And 2 weeks ago, I think, she sent out updates on teacher recertification and stuff like that. Like, look, we may not be able to do in-person CPR training.
Right.
Well, that's waived until September 30th.
Okay.
So if you have to do that, you have until September 30th, and then even that says, unless it needs to be later. The state of Indiana started requiring, I'm going to get it wrong, and I feel bad, but essentially like a career and
Is that the externship thing?
Yeah, that's what it was called by and large, is an externship. But it wasn't just that. It was like you could study opportunities for kids to get involved in like technical careers and that. There were multiple options. They waived all that. Yeah. So you still need, and I can't speak for teachers that are on the like their first license.
The initial one, the IPL.
What is that called?
The initial practitioner license, I think, or something.
Yeah. Is that like 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So after you do that, you get a 5-year license, and you only need 90 hours of professional development in 5 years.
Yeah, you can get that.
Yeah.
For people who are watching, 90 hours of PD in 5 years is very doable. You can get them for meeting with your colleagues. You get them for listening to different talks. I mean, you could get them, Ryan, for giving a talk like this. You could get professional development points.
Well, preparing for a talk like this, Nate,
you can get points for that too.
1.5 for every hour.
Well, so you spend a lot of hours on this.
Oh no, I'm at like 1,500, so I'm not worried about it. And you're not either. You already have your hours. Come on now.
Yes, I do.
But yeah, it's still 90 hours for every 5 years.
I can see how people would be getting jammed up right now. You know, if you know how it is. You count on this time of the year to take care of the logistical aspects of our job, where you want to renew, you want to re-up, inline all that stuff up, and now it's just not happening. So a lot of schools have adjusted school weeks. Like our school has adjusted to a 3-day student work week and a 5-day teacher work week still, but it's a little bit different. So how has, are there any others that you've seen? Like I know of some schools that are still doing 5 days.
Yes. Yeah. So I have a very close colleague who, I have elected to do asynchronous teaching.
Okay.
I did not know what that meant.
I don't currently.
So it means like I don't have to meet with my kids in real time.
Oh.
So they can complete their work or their assignments, their lessons. They can demonstrate that they understand something over the course of a span of time. But they don't have to meet with me during the time that we would normally meet. However, I'm available during those times. So that's asynchronous. Synchronous would be I require them to meet. So I know schools that are requiring their students to meet for an hour.
So just like in a typical day's schedule or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I've seen it work. I've seen it not work. I'm thankful that our administration has given us the liberty to do what works best for us and our kids.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, like, if I was more prepared for this, would I try synchronous?
Yeah.
But then you run into a legitimate inequity. Like we have kids who are working.
Right.
During the time that we teach.
They're doing the things that we've set out for them to do without us being there.
That, and their parents are out of a job and they can drive for Amazon, so they go do it.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
But both.
They're working. They're earning income for their family right now. Yeah.
And so for me to require that kid during this unprecedented time, to be online at 10:47 a.m. is like, man,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
So
it gets in a weird ethical place, you know,
Yeah.
where it goes beyond a little bit about just typical, you know, black and white education. It gets into an ethical.
I'm 25% teacher right now and 75% just triage. Like, help.
And you know, it's different. Even I can attest to seeing my mom, who teaches elementary, 5th grade. When we first started out, we were 5 days a week. They're doing 4 or 5 subjects a day, a lesson. So 4 or 5 lessons a day, 5 days a week from home.
Can you imagine being those kids, their parents?
No,
if they're working.
Right. Trying to, and then yeah. I was going to ask you about that. So high school might be different than what we could speak to grade school, and I think there are people on here who have kids or have kids in school. What would be? Do you have any general advice as like, how does a parent approach this time? I know every case is obviously very different. But as far as like, you know, if they're, I don't know, what would you say to parents right now about raising their kids in this educational era we're in?
I feel wholly unqualified to answer that question because I am not myself a parent. I have 2 beautiful nephews. I have so many friends who have kids in elementary and middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I have all of my students who, you know, are obviously in high school. I'm sorry, Nate. I literally,
parents doing
I wish there was a blanket statement to, like, I wish I could say, we'll be patient with the teachers. Well, yeah. Be patient with your kids. Well, yeah, until you need to lean on them.
Yeah.
So, it's a completely fair question. I just,
yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine.
It's not something I've experienced before.
So kids are learning things, you know, at home now. I don't know if states have adjusted standards for graduating. You know, like what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there less to graduating now? Even progressing in grades, has that changed much?
The state has opened a little bit. I'm so biased, but my state, our state.
Yes.
You're Hoosier.
The great state of Indiana.
That's right. No, Indiana's done, in my opinion, a really great job of communicating to teachers and to school districts about being empathetic, compassionate, and understanding of kids' situations. So now, I've heard strong opinions from teachers that I may disagree with, that I shouldn't say that, but they, you know, they're worried about, legitimately, they're worried about the, call it the class of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, that are affected by this in high school. And again, that's my, like, I teach high school, so I also understand how elementary and middle school teachers are responding to this, but we're worried about an inflation of grades, a lack of content that they may or may not understand. What is the true validity of that grade?
Sure. They earned an A during this time, but if they were in the classroom, would they have gotten the same grade, or are they getting the same content even?
Very well said. Absolutely. I have a politically incorrect response to that, and I have a response that I would say, you know, I hope that everyone understands what these young people had to deal with, and
yeah,
that's that way. Whether it's popular or not,
I've got one question coming in from a viewer that I'd like to throw your way. It's from a public health worker. Okay, public health worker.
Thank you.
There's so much fear and they're seeing a lot of incorrect information floating around, I think, particularly education. How have you fielded these questions based on any incorrect information without making a student or a parent feel defensive or like you were dodging the question? I think this goes beyond just COVID-19. That kind of question could be coming at you.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
No, that's a question for all educators. I mean, like, it's so weird to me. We spend more time with a lot of kids than their parents have the opportunity to.
That's a scary thought.
Well, it's not, you know, it's not the parents' fault. It's
but
like, come on. And then they go home and then they go in their rooms and they do teenager things. Like,
right.
So what I tell my students is that I'm an empiricist, and hopefully they don't know what that means, because I don't know why.
Yeah, you gotta go look it up. You like the data. You're driven by the data.
Yeah, I'm evidence-based, and I evaluate the evidence that is put before me, and then I evaluate the source, and I look at whether or not it has a bias or a motive for a potential bias. Look, I'm biased. Come on, like, sure. I say things to my students that are based on my preconceived notions about everything.
X, Y, and Z, yeah.
Yeah, so I try not to, but I just encourage kids to be really honest with themselves. And I would never tell a kid, like, don't trust your parents. And
yeah. Or even get into a debate with a parent about misinformation, right? Because that could easily go down a...
And then I was fortunate enough a few years ago to give a little, like, baccalaureate talk. And it was super ironic because the pastor who followed me, my message was, question everything. Ask questions. Whatever you do, please seek honest answers. And then as I'm like coming off the stage, the pastor is like walking up to the stage and he's like, we should have gotten together before this. And his whole message was, trust God, don't ask questions. Just trust that he's going to take care of you. And the whole time, like, both of us were laughing and going, yeah, we're both right.
Yeah. It's okay to question, it's okay to trust. I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Absolutely not. I totally agree with you. So,
I got one more question that somebody threw up, and this is from a school counselor. First week back from maternity leave.
Is it one that has emailed me like 5 times today?
I don't know. I don't think.
I can answer her question now.
Okay. Well, she's asked, how have you been coping with setting yourself up for success with this larger workload, with all the IEPs, conferences, paperwork, prep? How have you been setting yourself up to be successful with that?
Nate, I'm not I'm sorry, I'm not successful. I'm not even close to being as successful as what I am when I'm in person. And I know it's a different standard, but it's what I'm used to. So, all right. So I maintain a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I have a routine, and I do my best to adhere to that. But I have wonderful kids that need help and interrupt that time, and I'm not as good. But look, it's a good question. It's an honest conversation I've had with multiple parents of students who, when I call them, I'm like, hey, first of all, when I call parents, I'm usually the last teacher to call parents.
Right.
And then when I do, they're like, oh my God, another teacher's calling me. And I'm like, no. Hold on. What do you need? What do you need help with?
Mm-hmm.
So I think approaching it with a sense of compassion and understanding is really important.
Yeah.
But how am I being successful? Nah, I'm really not compared to my standard.
I could say.
How do you feel about that? Can I turn this around? You're young.
I'm very fortunate. Like, so we teach different classes.
Correct.
I think I
teach a lot of your former kids, though.
Yeah.
In
so
physics.
I'm fortunate that they for most of my classes they're pretty like you just tend to know the students who are going to do the things that like I don't need to check up on. Now there are students who during the course of even just when we were in person that I had to check up on. Well, now I know I need to keep an eye on how things are going. And luckily we have other staff like counselors and people who keep those kind of tabs as well, who relay that information to us. So Anna, who asked the question, being school counselor, we definitely need those staff members as well to help us now just as much as we did when we were in the building. So to regiment our day is a huge deal, but then to get input from outside people who we trust, because they have the same compassion. They have the same compassionate heart that you're describing. They want their kids to be.
And I think I think my job would be a lot harder if I felt like the team and we have 200 plus professional educators in our building.
Right.
If I felt like some or many of them didn't have the same goals as me, it would be harder.
It'd be rough, yeah.
But we're focused on kids. We're fortunate to teach in a very forward-thinking district. I mean, come on, like there are school corporations without naming names within the state that they're having to roll out like Chromebooks now.
Right.
To provide kids the opportunity to learn online. And I don't blame them for not doing it before. It's just like, we're lucky that we do. So can you imagine doing what we're doing?
Imagine having kids who have never used them before.
Having reliable devices and also being taught how to use them.
In the process, yeah. No, you're right. So so
there you go. There's your equity issue.
If I dissuade you from moving into Noblesville School District, hopefully Ryan persuades you a little bit more as to why, Noblesville schools are doing, I think, a great job as well. And Ryan, it's honestly, man, you think this conversation is abnormal for us. This is we are able to have these kind of talks and even dumber things, obviously, but have these kind of discussions being next door. I can just say from being, a young teacher, being able to kind of be befriended by you and just getting to know you has been a great pleasure. And I really appreciate you coming on here and taking the time to answer our questions and helping, hopefully, you know, helped inform some people about a few things or gave some new perspective. So, yeah, just want to say thank you, man. Really appreciate you.
Well, I miss talking with you. So,
yeah.
This was really nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Same.
Well, Nate, hey, thanks so much, man, for an awesome interview. That was so great and informative. I can't imagine being a teacher right now amidst this and having to answer all the questions that you answered. Ryan, we appreciate it. I know he doesn't really have social media, correct? I believe that's the case. And so, see his Twitter?
I think so.
Okay. We'll make sure we post that after this. Thanks so much, guys, for being a part of Community Culture Night. I hope you guys learned something new. We had two very different conversations, but both so incredible. So learned a ton. Nate, Garrett, you guys, thanks for leading this. You guys did an awesome job. I love the questions you guys asked. They were so good and so informative. We will meet you guys in the next time we meet. We'll let you know what's coming, and we're excited for what we have in store. So we'll see you guys soon. See you guys.